thanks for tuning in to the Daily Space Weather viewers. I be your host, Dan, aka smAsho, and we're looking at the sun here in 193 angstroms. We see a sunspot has formed in the southeast. It's a cycle 25 sunspot. Some coronal holes associated with the South Pole as well as around the equator. Very large South Pole coronal hole system going on there, and it's totally in charge of the current sheet. Next we're going to look at 304 angstroms, and there are some major filaments in the northwest. Check it out. Significant filaments up there, despite not a lot of activity happening. And we've got some close-ups of those sunspot areas. First we're going to look at the fields, and I'm talking moving pictures here. Here is the field orientation, and we see at least 4 umbrae, so, oh, I forgot, HelioViewer doesn't like Epic Pen. Anyway, there are trailing umbrae and a leading umbra. That's the largest field, and there are at least 3 trailing umbrae, so this is going to be designated as a beta class sunspot. And again, there's the fade to 171 angstroms. Make that one size larger. And here's the fade to 131 angstroms, which is covering 2 ionized states of iron. And there's the fade from 131 to 171 angstroms, making for a sort of a composite image there. And yesterday afternoon we did make a video. We didn't upload it. I just wanted to see it myself. And there you can see down in the lower left, you can see the time and date stamps. Let me get off the screen. That's the 94 angstroms view. That's another ionized state of iron. And here are the current images. That was yesterday afternoon. That was about 17 hours from when we made the video. And here's the current situation. We've got the view in 171, 304, and 94 angstroms once again. So there's that sunspot. It'll be named today, as it's spent over 24 hours now with umbra. Here's the 304 angstroms view of the same exact area. And we're also going to show the 94 angstroms. There's the 94 angstroms view. And if you want to really study the stuff in depth, folks, use the 94 and the 131 angstroms. Those take an image every 2 seconds instead of an image every 10 seconds. So 5 times as many images on the 94 and 131 angstroms, which is the green and the aqua blue respectively. Here's where stuff is in the solar system. There's where things will be in a week. And we're approaching the worm moon, called so for obvious reasons, as we've displayed on the screen for your viewing pleasure. Yes, the worm moon, associated with things like spring, and the March full moon this year will be the last full moon in winter. If you want to read all about it, head to timeanddate.com. And let's talk about daylight savings time real quick. The myth is that it was invented by Ben Franklin when he proposed it in his 1784 essay, An Economical Project, which wasn't really seriously considered. It was not instituted in the U.S. until 1966 permanently. And there are still all kinds of various differences around the world. The current format was proposed in New Zealand. And George Hudson wanted a 2-hour time change so he could study bugs. So daylight savings time was first adopted by Germany during World War I. And some other countries started doing it then, but then they stopped the practice once again. Again, it became a national standard in 1966, but there are still some state anomalies, such as Hawaii does not do daylight savings time because it's so close to the equator that it's got practically 12 hours of sunlight and nighttime all year round anyway. Most of Arizona doesn't change its clocks. And having friends in the UK has informed me many years ago that the UK doesn't change their time at the same time as us in the US. So if you want to read the 17 little-known facts about daylight savings time. By the way, golf and barbecue industries benefit a lot. They expect $200 million extra dollars as a result if they can get people to actually go out into public. Perhaps, well, we won't get into it. Yeah. Pedestrians are less safe as a result. I don't know. I don't have any opinion. I'll just let this scroll down. This article from USA Today. It's on their homepage, usatoday.com. Again, different countries have different times, and William Willetts and Coldplay's lead singer are related, and farmers hate it because it messes with their clocks, as they must use the circadian rhythms of things like day and night to feed animals and harvest crops and so on. Here's where stuff is above my head. And I totally consent to in-the-sky.org's cookie policy. If you want to make yourself a star chart, just head here. And they used to be animatable, but I don't know. Perhaps it's a problem with the Brave browser. And we've got Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury all rising as the moon has just set. And we're expecting that worm full moon in 2 days. KP index is at 2. And the 10.7 centimeter radial flux still at 70. Don't be surprised at all to see this go up, as that sunspot has increased in power. And don't be surprised to see the X-ray flux produce some B-class X-ray flares, as that sunspot is just getting started. It looked like it was going to degrade yesterday, but now it has indeed increased. It'll be a beta class, and the possibility for X-ray flares has gone up. Now we're going to look at cosmic rays real quick. First of all, the Apatity and Barentsburg neutron monitors are not sending data. Now, we always leave the Network of Cosmic Rays station site link below our video, so go monitor cosmic rays yourself. If you don't believe us, don't take our word for it. Go monitor it yourself. And let's go to Athens instead, who showed an odd 40%, nearly 40% decrease in cosmic ray flux, or in neutrons. About a 39% decrease, followed by an instant return to baseline. Looks like it might be anomalous. Let's move on to the Mexico City Cosmic Ray Observatory. And there you can see pretty flat over the past 30 days at Mexico City. Moscow has sent some anomalous data as well, back on February 27th, and has not sent data since, showing a 20+% increase. And lastly, we'll look at Oulu, Finland. There's Oulu. Stop. Don't touch me there. This is my Oulu square. And Oulu looking flat over the past 30 days. Also, DOMB Antarctica sending a whole lot of nothing. And here's a heaping helping of data from DOMC Antarctica. Again, we always leave links to the Network of Cosmic Ray Stations site below our videos. If they're daily space weather videos, that is. Here's a real-time solar wind. And we see some shifts in the phi angle here showing fleeting coronal hole magnetic connections. Here you see that one super clear. A connection and then a disconnection. And yeah, so phi angle shifting around in the past 12 hours at least. Current solar wind density 5.53 and a ramp down of the solar wind speed to about 380 kilometers per second. There's the data from ACE, and there's the last few minutes as we did show prep. Next, geospace magnetosphere movies. Showing us a pretty steady magnetosphere here, nothing too exciting happening there. We show the data every day, thanks to our new viewers in your attempts to understand the information, if you immerse yourself in the data, you will find insights that you would otherwise not have found. Next, geospace ground magnetic perturbations. And I would note that we see continued pulses coming out of the Pacific Ocean down here south of Hawaii. And you'll see those popping up as the video progresses, right around that area. See that? And that's been going on for a while. And clear evidence of the South Pole creeping toward southwestern Australia during this polar excursion. This geomagnetic polar excursion, folks. Next, looking at the GOES magnetometers, we see continued spikiness as they've crossed once again, showing a disparity between the GOES 15 and 16, happening around midnight satellite time there. Now they're divergent readings showing up on the GOES satellites. Next, we'll look at the Gong 2 data, and this is pretty old hat at this point. The entire current sheet portion that the Earth is in totally charged up by the South Pole, shown in red, and no evidence of the green polarity of the North Pole showing through yet. Here's the line of sight field plot. Nothing really going on there yet. So not a lot of effects happening yet from that sunspot, and again, that will be named today. And this is a good one to look at the way sunspots affect the B field, shown in blue. Electrons are at a very low level in the innermost Van Allen belt here. This one, the greater than 2 mega electron volt electron fluence, very low. GOES 15 showing very low electron flux also. GOES 14 sending a whole lot of nothing for a few days. And here's the electron forecast, the total electron content, which will show you things like GPS errors around the equator at noon. And those are going to be minimal, as we've seen a diminishment of the electron flux over the past several days. Next, we're going to look at the ionosphere, and we see a discharge there shown in red. That's the F layer. The rest of it is the F2 layer. I don't know if that makes sense. No time to really explain the ionosphere in a daily space weather video. But anyway, there's 6 hours of data. And here's the latest image. It's looking fairly normal here in the ionosphere, save for this anomaly charging up in the South Pacific, which is normal enough to have gone on for about 3 months here, and we covered it daily. By the way, thanks for pressing like and subscribe on YouTube. If you're a new subscriber, check out our alternative links here to smAsho.org and to Patreon, the real source of funding for these videos, as YouTube tries its best to pay us nothing. So there's our pathetic views of yesterday's cosmology video and daily space weather, and we've got 2 or 3 times that many on BitChute, the free speech platform that won't shadow ban you and won't attempt to hide the truth and promote channels who spout a bunch of nonsense and pure lies to promote their own BS. So thanks, patrons, for being the real source of funding for the videos. And please consider becoming a patron and help our activities expand. There's a lot going on in 2020, so become a part of it at the ground level and help to further our causes. We've also started a Subscribe Star setup. Thanks to everybody who has subscribed there as well. And don't forget to follow us on Alt Tech, like twitch.tv/smAshomash, as we've been doing some live sessions there and putting some exclusive content on Twitch, as well as on BitChute. You notice here our cosmology segment video got 244 views on BitChute yesterday. Another indication of how pathetic the YouTube junkware platform is. Absolutely pathetic, as YouTube is engaged in electioneering, censorship, fraud, scams, lies, misleading its shareholders, which is a white-collar crime punished by the SEC. So perhaps don't even watch the videos on YouTube. Just watch them wherever. Also, we're on Minds.com. And thanks, Dastrev, for sending a wire. We will use the tokens wisely. Next, we're going to look at some value-added services here, like Windy.com's pressure maps and we'll let that advance about 24 hours. It's 6:20 when we shot the video, coming at you pretty late today. And here's where things will be at 1500 Eastern Daylight Time. And let's move on to look at the last 24 hours of earthquakes. Nothing over a 6 magnitude as the earthquake drought continues. And there's a deep quake in Mexico. It's only a 4.5 magnitude, but 177 kilometers depth. That one came in at 10:29 UT yesterday. And then an hour and a half later, a deep quake strikes Indonesia at 159 kilometers and a 5.2 magnitude. Let's just scroll up the list. There's a deep quake in Western South America. And we're just going to let this scroll. Noting anything interesting, please leave a comment if we missed something. Here's a Portuguese quake, kind of an odd spot. It's a 5.2 magnitude out in the Atlantic Ocean. Here's a very deep quake in Japan. It's 376 kilometers. Here's a very deep quake at Fiji. That one in the deep quake capital of the world, the area north of New Zealand. It's a 584 kilometer deep quake at a 4.4 magnitude. If that happened at the surface, that would be about a 6 magnitude. So the earthquake drought continues, folks. Seeing a huge drought of 6, 7, and 8 magnitude quakes here. And I'll just draw this in like I used to all the time. If you're in these areas, please have an earthquake plan, as we're seeing tons of deep quakes around here, and especially those regions. Don't be surprised to see a 7+ magnitude quake at the surface, because earthquake droughts end with earthquakes. So welcome to the Neo-Renaissance, folks. If you haven't checked it out yet, head to smAsho.org. It's got links to the forum. And look for this to be beefed up pretty soon. Head to the forum. There's a huge section about virus, otherwise known as COVID-19. And please feel free to update that, as we haven't updated it yet today. Over 9 pages of information there now, starting all the way back on January 23rd. So thanks, St. Louis Arch. We are also on Gab, by the way, which is an alternative to Twitter. And St. Louis Arch says, "Oh my God! Call Mr. MBB333. Oh my God! Look at that! It's gravity wave clouds! Whoa!" Anyway, let me read my comment. Gravity waves formed those, and now they're going to eat me. Oh my God! You get the idea. Anyway, again, huge section on virus, otherwise known as COVID-19. And let's look at the current state of stats. Again, head to smAsho forum. It's smashomash.com/forum. And let's look at the current state of affairs. Death count, 3,594. Total confirmed cases, 106,375. Fear-mongering at the maximum possible level. Cases in China are leveling out. Cases in the rest of the world are leveling out. Fear-mongering is continuing, as all kinds of channels try to promote their BS by talking about a thing probably less dangerous than the seasonal flu. I kind of agree with Elon Musk for once. In all of the fear-mongering about coronavirus is dumb. Volcano rundown includes Kluchevskoy still exploding, still producing a 23,000-foot plume of ash. Mount Oso, flight level 6,000 there. Dacono, flight level 6,000 there as it explodes. Popocatépetl explodes. 20,000 foot plume there. Sangay exploding, 20,000 foot plume there. Revenador exploding, 16,000 foot plume there. And although Sabancaya is only intermittently producing puff emissions, please do not puff puff pass at the base of Sabancaya or attempt to pole vault the caldera, as that could be unhealthful. Errant lightning strike just came in right as we did the show. And there's the thunderclap. Please leave a comment if you're viewing the video from the middle of the southern Pacific Ocean. I like to use lightningmaps.org to show that there's hardly any lightning striking right now. And here's another value-added service. It's the U.S. Doppler radar map. And we'll let that play through another 2 times so all y'all can see what's going on. And next we'll look at the jet streams. Here is the eastern world. Some extreme meridional jet stream flow down here, making for some cold days in southern Madagascar. Here's the western world. And extreme meridional jet stream flow. The jet stream is doubled up over the U.S. And we see extreme bends on both sides, both hemispheres. Here's the geographic South Pole. You can see extreme meridional jet stream flow. It is all over the place. And here's the North geographic pole. Same deal, extreme bends. And yeah, that's not caused by carbon dioxide, by the way, folks. I don't know if you're aware. Do you know the first thing about atmospheric physics? Please leave a comment. Don't make an ass of yourself, because we won't delete your comments or censor you, because censorship is for pearl-clutching pussies. So don't be a pearl-clutching pussy. Here is the water vapor maps for Africa and Europe. Here is the water vapor maps for Oceania and the Far East. Here is the water vapor map for the U.S. And I've got one place to look at this time. Today we're going to Georgia, as we regularly like to zoom in on zones of pressure gradient. And there's a vortex-looking scenario going on there, as a huge pressure inversion is happening right in this area, as this moist air is moving over the top of this dry air in this fashion. So there's going to be huge atmospheric waterfalls right there off the coast of Georgia. If you're on the beach in Georgia today, take photographs of the clouds. They'll be odd, and they won't be caused by gravitational waves, nor carbon dioxide, nor chemtrails. Hey yo, Smash team, thanks for tuning into the video. Don't forget to stay tuned, as we've got a bonus features, such as the latest image in intensitygram of the new Sunspot group. And we've got, again, we've got one leading umbra, and it looks like at least 3 or 4 trailing umbrae. Those are the polarity line is about here. So this is going to be a beta class, and it's much more likely to produce solar flares than an alpha class sunspot. We won't get into the full sunspot definition, as this is the daily space weather, not a cosmology segment. There are the fields, and I just hit refresh. Let's just hit refresh again just so you can see it refresh. And there's the latest data. And we're seeing actually some magnetic mixing there associated with the leading umbra right there. So something to keep an eye on throughout the day. And when I say eye on, you get the idea. And here's one additional bonus feature. It's the 1700 angstroms view. And this one is going to show pretty much the whole lifespan of that sunspot, as it's a 48-hour video. And let's actually blow that up a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. There's the optimal size. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink, and if you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back.